So, for final question, even though the market's a little cold, would you suggest somebody to get into roofing? Tell me the real truth. Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I've got Noah. Say your last name one more time. Bergland and you're at Bison Builders.
Bison Builders, correct.
And we're talking about the state of the industry and what to do in a drought, a storm drought.
Yeah.
Crease shingles?
No, definitely not.
No, I'm just kidding. No, and how the insurance game is changing.
Yep.
And, you talk to my dad. He has like this view of the profession.
Okay.
That it's kind of a lot of people making things into insurance claims.
Oh, yeah.
That don't need to be insurance claims. And I think in one way, the insurance companies have been very successful painting it that way. And then on the other hand, you got people talking about how 50% of the claims are manufactured. Do you believe that number is that high?
I think it sounds probably pretty accurate. Okay. Sometimes higher, maybe sometimes less. But I think all in all, we created this fake demand by filing all these claims. We also just bred people to wait for the next storm. That was always the thing. Knock the door, do the inspection, find damage. If there was so damage, file it anyways, because you knew this adjuster's most likely going to come out, and a lot of these roofs got bought anyways. So of course the motto was file everything. And when you file everything and things that maybe shouldn't get approved, why not file more claims? Mm-hmm. So, and then when they don't get approved, instead of saying, okay, you have an old roof, let's look at how we can get this done through financing, through retail. Instead, we're wait for the next storm. And a lot of homeowners, you'd knock the door, and before they already knew who you were. Oh God, either a roof guy, a solar guy,
Pest control guy
now.
Welcome.
So basically they'd be roofer? Yeah. And some people would be go take a look. So they've already anticipated, we knock old roofs, and because they want new roofs and we want them to get new roofs and we want the commission. So yeah, definitely we created this fabricated demand, which then brought all these roofers, brought all these companies. Circus comes to town whenever you get anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch hailstones or above. And all of a sudden you just got 30 roofers on each block knocking doors, and it's pretty chaotic, pretty uncomfortable for the homeowner, uncomfortable for the contractor knocking the doors. But at the same time, there's good money in the industry, or at least there was. And
yeah, let's zoom in on Minnesota right now.
Yeah,
it's
Minnesota.
It's a tough market.
Yeah.
Even the best guys that I know are not up.
Yeah.
On the year.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So 2 years, and this happened in Colorado.
Yep. I heard Colorado had a 3-year drought.
3 years ago, I think it got broke or something. Okay. I just remember. Yeah. I remember there was a moment where it's been 2 or 3 years, and people, companies. I remember getting a phone call from somebody who I liked.
Contractors in Colorado saying come in here. Or what?
No, they were I'm done. I can't. Yeah. I can't do this anymore.
Okay. Yep.
He had a little fluffy of a company, or whatever. He had a lot of overhead and stuff that. That's the thing. You have to be able to contract down.
Yeah.
That's what they call him a contractor for. You gotta contract down when there's no store. No, I'm just kidding. But then immediately, it was 2 months later, and there was a storm in Colorado. So it's hard to see people fold.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's this evolution.
Knock that overhead down fast enough.
Yeah. Because I see a lot of people winning that just know how to go smaller when it's time and then go up when it's time.
Yeah.
But the question is, how do you pivot the business model? It sounds like, just talking to you before this, we should put you in the sauna so you get in the hot seat.
I can feel the
sweating.
Heat coming off it, and I'm already a sweater, so
perfect.
But no,
how do people have to evolve? Yeah. I know that this is the most common topic in the world, I guess. People have to evolve. What are some of your unique takes on how the industry has to evolve?
So in Minnesota, if you worked your butt off on the August 11th of 2023 storm, you were able to at least salvage last year, 2024, because you get anywhere from a year to 2 years to work a claim. But in the Minnesota market, really you feel after 2 months, even if it's a pretty big storm, that it's almost all gone. and then it's slim pickings. So like you need to get out there like night of or next morning. I mean, when Monticello hit last year, which we'll talk about, I heard there was people out there at 4 a.m. And if anyone had their lights on, they're knocking on the door at 4:30 a.m. And like, obviously a lot of people wouldn't do that and probably shouldn't do that. That's a reason our market, our industry has the reputation it has, because it's a Shark Tank is what we call it. But so if you worked your butt off on that August 11th, 2023 storm, you could salvage last year. You didn't really feel the hurt until the end of last year or the beginning of this year. So when Monticello was our only storm last year, Monticello's not that big of a town. St. Michael, Albertville, you could have got some roofs out of as well, but you only had probably 20,000, 30,000 houses that were potentially affected. Well, when you have the land of 10,000 contractors, that's going to get swallowed up immediately.
And just like applying this nationwide, you think about like markets that traditionally have storms, and for whatever reason, Minnesota has become that. It wasn't.
I think we're number 3.
I thought it wasn't.
I thought
for
it
a while.
was Texas, Colorado, and then Minnesota.
And Florida, right?
Florida, hurricanes. I mean, everyone has their different.
So, and then like all up with that, like kind of East Coast. But like the principle is years go by, no big storm. You get these small storms, you got to like run in.
Oh my God.
But eventually you're going to have to pivot your business model. So how are the people that are surviving right now doing it? And like, how does that, do we still just kind of wait up? Like, cause cause I live in Minnesota with you, obviously here, I'm like, when a storm hits, I'm like, fucking please. Please.
Well, I always say the $1 million producers are always going to find a way to sell $1 million. They might have been a $3 million producer and now they're selling 1.5 or 2 million.
Dan Walrach says one's the baseline now.
One's the baseline.
That's hard. That's a hard rule. But it is kind of like if you really want to make a heavy duty career out of this, that is kind of true, right?
But the lack of storms really separates the men from the boys, the salesman from the door knocker. And you got to be able to adapt. If you've been in the industry, I mean, I'm in my 5th year and I work with a lot of realtors or realtors. So
is there a difference?
They care. But anyway, so I work with a lot of realtors and they're a constant influx of leads and roofs to look at. And because insurance has tightened up so much, it's hard to get insurance on a 12-year-old roof now, which is kind of insane, but we kind of did that. So these realtors, they sell these houses and all of a sudden they sell these houses and now this new homeowner can't get insurance. So either the previous homeowner has to replace the roof or they got to find if there's hail damage on there and file a claim and try to get it approved, or they got to eat the cost of the sale to knock it down knowing that this roof possibly needs to be replaced. Now, these aren't all 12-year-old roofs. In most cases, they're 18, 20, 25-year-old roofs in these sales, but it creates this opportunity to have someone like me come in, either see if we can get it approved through insurance or give them a competitive retail bid and build it in a couple weeks so that you don't push the sale on the house. So, I mean, I've gotten a lot that way. Bison Builders has brought in trainers to really teach us how to sell retail and how to work the finance route. Roofle has been a game changer. Mike Goldstein from GAF went over to Roofle and that's been incredible for leads. I mean, it's amazing how many people go on your website and just click on the instant roof quote and all of a sudden here's their name, phone number, email, and address. And you're calling them and figuring out what's going on.
Higher quality qualified leads.
They're great leads,
when they go through that. It's like a higher qualified.
Definitely. Yep.
That's the biggest thing. People are like, will it increase leads? Maybe, because I'm a little bit more likely to just want to see a price. But I think the bigger thing is, hey, if you actually have a good chunk of people coming through the website, or you can push this out on social media, you get a higher quality lead. It kind of like filters it a little bit more because they're actually like giving their information.
They're already, and most of these people that are coming through are retail customers that are either having some problem with insurance, they can't find insurance on their house, their roof is aging out, so they're coming in and they're like, hey, I need to get a new roof, and they're willing to pay. We don't charge them what we would charge insurance companies, but just like with health insurance, we can do it for cheaper.
Do you have Do you have financing?
Yeah, so we have a couple. So a Roofle also has financing, which we do use.
What do they have in it?
Like, I don't
It's like
know for
Roofle
sure.
financing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just some
Gotcha.
it's some financing through them. Now,
Gotcha.
the one issues we have had with that is there's like a cap on how much. So I've had, because most financing we do is we get a new roof, and now all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't want old crappy siding. I don't want, I might as well get my windows replaced while I'm doing that. So these $40,000, $50,000 projects now quickly turn into $125,000 projects. And if somebody wants to just finance that whole thing and figure it out with insurance on their own, then they need to come up with 127 grand in financing. So
role play with me
Yeah.
for a moment.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice spot to give people a little deeper value here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So imagine
absolutely.
I'm a homeowner that would like to upgrade the siding and the windows,
Yep.
but I am approved through insurance. How do you do this blended pitch?
Yeah.
It's like I'm approved,
So you're approved
I'm
partially.
approved for the roof.
You're approved through the roof.
But okay, so
or maybe you're partially approved on the siding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so kind of speak to me like that's happening. I don't know how to.
Yeah. So basically, say we hit a snag where.
Just pretend I'm a homeowner. Like, let's do a real role play right now. Yep.
All right. How's it going, Tim?
Doing good.
All right. So, well, congratulations first off on the new roof.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get the siding. We got the front elevation.
Okay.
However, you got farmer's insurance and you don't have a matching endorsement on your siding. So the other 3 elevations, unfortunately, are not going to be able to get
man,
covered.
I've been paying my premium for like 13 years, dude, and they won't cover the siding?
They won't. And unfortunately,
so we just
they shouldn't have to.
We can't do it.
As much as I wanted to, it's just with farmers, you have matching or you don't. There's no gray area, no verbiage in your policy that could potentially get us the whole way. However, we do have some great financing options available.
Okay, I get, because I definitely couldn't do lump sum on that.
Well, and a lot of people right now, they don't want to tap into their equity of their house because they have such a low mortgage rate, so on and so forth. So what we've been doing for our homeowners is we have a great financing company called Acorn. And what we can do is we can go over everything that you want. Everything will be a la carte on my estimate.
Yeah.
It'll have your, per insurance roof, so that won't be factored in there. But the remaining 3 sides of your siding, if there's anything else you want to quote on, whether it's windows, window wraps, gutters, we could do the Minnesota mullet, and we could do LP on the front, vinyl on the other 3 sides.
Yeah, I wish that wasn't a thing. That's ugly as hell.
You look like a Minnesota mullet
No,
kind of guy.
I am not. I would get James Hardy on all sides.
Perfect. Whoa. All right. But anyway, so when I send you the estimate, there's going to be a soft pull on the bottom of the estimate. Soft pull is going to be what a payment per month if you finance the whole thing.
Okay.
So if you want, there's an apply section through Acorn where
let's imagine I applied because I want to hear like a realistic, that's a $130,000 project or something like that.
Yep. So
give me like a realistic monthly number that.
Yeah. So, I actually went through and did a hard pull on myself, like tried to get financed for like 60 grand, 70 grand, something like that.
Yeah.
I got pretty good credit. It gave me
You've come a long way.
I know, I've come a long ways. I had no credit, bad credit. Nobody had touched me. But I've come a long ways. And so say 60 grand. You're probably looking about, I don't know, 400 or 500 a month. Something like that. So it's not too crazy, but it's all going to vary on, so the better rates, like in the 7, 8, 9%, rates are going to be in the 36-month loans.
Okay.
And then you got loans that are like 5, 6 years. Those are going to be slightly higher in the 10s, 11s.
What's the rate on that?
Somewhere between 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Somewhere in the
I'd probably do it at the 7% mark. I don't think I can do it at the 12. I'm not willing to.
Well, and the beautiful thing is when you do, so you decide how much you want to get financed for. Say you got 30 grand sitting around, so you just need another 30 grand financed. Once you click on the apply now, there'll be a section, how much money do you need? You can put 30K in there, you can put the whole thing, 60K in there.
Yeah, if I was going to do it,
it'll give you 12, 13 different options, and you can make your decision from there.
I might need to wait on that. So what if I just want to do the roof?
Well, we can just do the roof. I don't care. We can do the roof now. Farmers, you get 1 year from...
Sell me something.
Oh, sell you something. Oh my God.
Come on, what would you really do?
Dude, do you want your neighbors sitting around here thinking you can't afford to side the other 3 sides of your house? Do we need to get Bia out here? Pull your man card?
Okay, no, I was trying to...
You just got to straight attack their masculinity, I think is the best way to go.
What would you really say in that situation?
I mean, if they just wanted... I mean, honestly, not to like say I'm not a sales guy, but at the same time...
You just give them options.
I don't care. I'll just do the roof. I'll do one side of your siding.
Well, why would you suggest they do this project?
Well, one, because what better time than now is they're already kicking in a portion. So like, for instance, we had this one guy, he did roof, which we had to go through State Farm. We had to go through appraisal, which we've had to do pretty much, which is another hot topic we could talk about, State Farm appraisals. But got the roof fully approved. We got all the siding the roof wasn't approved until appraisal, but then it was. But then he had a detached garage, which we couldn't get approved. All the siding was approved. But then he's like, okay, I want to replace all my windows. I want to do the detached garage siding. I want to do gutters, gutter covers. So like ended up being like $127,000 claim. We got, I think, $68,000 through insurance. So I'm bad at math, but I think that's around $60K that he had to get financed. So
essentially, it's why do you really suggest? Like, why would you recommend?
Yeah, but
this?
like, because if you put it off, you're probably never going to do it. And then say you don't do it, and say like if you got breaks and damage all over, and you see that, you're going to show up at night. You're going to come home and you're going to see it, and you're going to wish you had. Nobody ever regrets, doing a whole home renovation, upgrades, like, unless they can't afford it. Obviously, there might be some buyer's remorse, but all in all, you're gonna feel good. You come home, you look at your new roof. I mean, some people might not get as horned up as us roofers do when it comes to roofs.
I was talking to my sister-in-law about a project they did to North Face, and I was like, not to say another roofer on your podcast here, but it's just more the transformation, the way that you feel about yourself. When you drive up your driveway and you like the way everything looks. Yeah. So it's like you're actually transforming the way people see themselves when you transform their home.
100%.
Which is beautiful.
Well, yeah. I do a lot of like full like roof siding. Obviously windows are, not as, but I do a lot of windows as well. But like when you can do, and like a lot of people like try to get rid of the gutter work, I'm like, screw that. If we can do roof siding, gutters, like everything's brand new. I mean, it's a
lot of project.
The transformation is just incredible. Yeah.
It's just,
and obviously,
I think some people don't want to manage all those different people. No, like if they have subcontractors, it's a lot to manage all that, right?
Yeah, I think it's more about where you make the most money, and I don't care.
Yeah, because you'd rather have it all in one project.
I'll take another $500 paycheck. Like, I'm fine with that.
If you truly believe in what you're doing and you want to be the best version of yourself and you want to build a great organization, there's no other place to do that besides the Roofing Academy.
So let's get to the appraisal situation. So what is going on with that? Why is it basically increasing? Why?
Yeah.
Is that really what's best for everybody? Is that what's best for roofers? Is that what's best for State Farm? Why is it all going that way?
So State Farm's strategy, people will be like, oh, I had a claim in 2022 and they took care of me. I'm like, yeah, so there were some really good storms in 2022 and State Farm usually would buy like good damage, significant damage. They've just hit a spot where they hate our industry so much that their business model is deny, deny, deny. Like, I don't care if it's actual damage, it's fake damage, like it's BS. I'm just going to deny everything. It could be in the heart of a storm and they're probably going to deny 7 out of the 10 claims in the heart of the storm.
Is it roofer's fault?
I mean, ish. It is, but it's not. Like, so they hate us and we did take advantage and filed a bunch of bullshit claims and got a bunch of bullshit
here's
approved.
The thing.
It is partially our fault, 100%. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they still have a client and they still, technically it's their fault. It's insurance companies' faults for not having a better system put in place for who approves and denies roofs. If they would have had a better checks and balances in place on what roofs are getting approved, Because all we're doing is filing claims.
Yeah.
We're not putting a gun to anyone's head saying you need to approve this roof. We're not forcing homeowners to file claims that they don't want to file. Like, some people might be out there lying to people, tell them what they want to hear, but most of us are generally shooting them straight but saying, hey, shit could still get bought.
Hey, comment below what you think. Do you think it's, if you're watching this on YouTube, do you think it's the roofer's fault or do you think it's insurance company's fault?
We know it's State Farm's fault. Drop that shit in the comments. In appraisal, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the homeowners, the policy holder's right. If for some reason State Farm and us can't come to an agreement on what the damages are, what the damages should be as far as money-wise be paid for. And if we can't come to an agreement, then the homeowner has a right to invoke appraisal. We can't convince them to invoke appraisal. We can't coax them. It has to be their 100% decision. Now, obviously, we can say, hey,
this is an option.
This is the last option. It's that and then a lawsuit. So appraisal is not quite a lawsuit, but what you are is you're getting an appraiser involved. And basically you're taking it out of our hands, you're taking it out of State Farm's hands, you're taking it out of the homeowner's hands, and you're turning it over to an appraiser of State Farm's choosing, an appraiser of our choosing. And then those two, if they can't make a decision together, they get a third person, which is called an umpire. The homeowner pays our appraiser, State Farm pays their appraiser, and the umpire is split. State Farm pays half, homeowner pays half.
Feels expensive.
It's usually, so it depends. If there's no umpire, it's about $1,250. So $1,250. If there is an umpire, if it is an umpire, that umpire is usually $2,000. So you're splitting $2,000. So it could be $2,250, and then you still have to pay the deductible. You still have to. But if it's a $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 project, is it? So it's not.
Well, I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things.
And unfortunately, because State Farm has just denied everything, they've just put us in a situation where if it's good damage or if it's discontinued and we have a repair, then you go to appraisal, you're going to win. I mean, I think we're like 39-1 on appraisals this year with State Farm.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of people are just doing everything like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure
maybe
some
that's
people
overstated.
Are losing, but I don't know. I don't know what everyone's doing.
I've heard a lot of people are doing this more.
A lot of other owners, but State Farm has 4 appraisers on staff, and I know those appraisers are just drowning in appraisals. That I do know, because it's like 2 months.
You're saying in Minnesota?
In Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying around the country, it feels like this is just becoming a much more common thing. And would you say that's gone up and up?
I didn't even know what an appraisal was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I had heard of it, but I'd never seen it. Up until last year, I'd never done an appraisal.
Who wins in all this? Is it really?
Well, I mean, we win.
Yeah.
Is the contractor, because we get the job.
Yeah.
The homeowner wins because they get a roof, or they get their siding. They get things that should have been paid for already paid for. Now, State Farm loses all the way around, but State Farm wins too, because so their strategy is actually pretty slick. If they get 1,000 claims and they deny, 997 of those claims. Now, of those 997 people, about 85% of them are going to say, okay, I quit.
Yeah.
So not good at math, but that leaves 100 people left? Something like that. So those 100 people now are going to fight. Now, out of those 100 people, probably only 40 or 50 are going to go to appraisal. So now out of 1,000 claims, they got to deal with 40 appraisals. And even if they lose all of them, so out of 1,000 claims, they only paid out on 40 of them.
Would you suggest a homeowner goes to appraisal if they get to a situation where they're in a denied claim?
So it all depends. We have State Farm claims all the time where if you get State Farm backed into a corner where you're going to win, because it's either you have a repair and it's discontinued, or you have a repair and it's actually significant damage, then yes, then you 100% go to appraisal, because State Farm's got this policy language called like, kind, quality, or reasonable appearance. And that's really what has screwed State Farm over the years, because that's a real gray area to argue. So it's all open to, subjection, and
it's the whole zeitgeist of disco shingles and the gold rush around
the
finding
Elks and the
disco shingles and knocking them and figuring it out.
The Certainty New Horizons,
any
the
damage
Tiger
at all,
Roofs, any of the old Elks, the old GAFs. Yeah, you get one hit to the valley, but
boom,
you got to get the valley paid for. And then what State Farm's been doing is they're refusing to pay the shingles. So you need 18 inches up on each side of the valley. You need those shingles all replaced. And what State Farm is doing is they're saying you got to manipulate the shingles, pull them up, replace the valley, put the valley back, re-nail the old shingles back in there. That's what they're trying to do. It hasn't been working for them in the appraisal, and you win every time. But if that shingle's not, available, or there is something that looks pretty good, like, you would lose in that case. So there's a lot of times where we advise our homeowners not to go.
So Rilla allows you to listen to, it's an AI in your pocket, listens to the appointment. It's pretty crazy what it can do. It gives a script, gives everything they said, it breaks down some statistics for you.
Analyze talk ratio, interactivity, like how you and I are interacting back and forth, longest modeling, like all those things.
This is the shit that I most believe in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enhancing the
You're
user
about to put
experience.
math and data around something that used to be my magic skill.
It's a fun game. It's actually, it feels like more of a complicated game than just straight up roofing. Do you know what I mean? Storm damage, storm restoration.
Yeah.
And it's like such a complicated game. And it like almost requires a different type of like intelligence than just like the old builder mindset around roofing. Well, you guys are doing more retail.
Yep.
And a lot of people in this market and in different markets where storms are slow for a couple of years need to get into retail. What's something you guys have been learning about retail that you didn't know before that's helped you?
One is just like learning about who you're selling to. Mm-hmm. So if I'm walking in and like, you could even like say you're a pretty well-off guy, you live in North Oaks. Mm-hmm. So
I've got a tent sauna.
Yeah, he has a tent sauna, so he's
that's
rolling in. He's making millions. He's bringing home
$700. By the way. Shout out.
But anyway, so you need to find out. So one thing you didn't really think about when you're filing claims, all you care about is you have an old crappy roof or some hail hit here or possibly hit here. Let me look at the roof, see if there's enough up there. Let's file it. That's easy.
This guy's been trying to get my roof for years.
I have. Screw you, North Face Construction, for locking them down. We were playing the game outside last time I was here, and I'm like, so when are you getting your roof replaced? He's like, easy, dude. Josh would kill me. But anyway, so you have to know who you're selling to. And when in the storm industry, you didn't really care who you're selling to.
Yeah.
It's a person who's willing to pay their deductible or not willing to pay their deductible. Yeah. That was it. There's two types of people. Yeah. And usually there was, if you're not someone willing to eat a deductible, then because it's against the law,
no one does that.
No one does that ever. So that was it. That's the only person you had to know who you're sitting across from. That way you didn't walk down this whole thing. Your company wouldn't let you eat the deductible. And next thing you know, you're losing this job that you really didn't put that much time into. But anyway, so now it's like, okay, now I actually have to know who the hell I'm sitting across the table from. I got to know what matters to you. Because if all you care about is price, then I'm not going to be sitting over here trying to sell you on a enhanced warranty. I'm not going to be trying to sell you on, class 3, class 4 shingles. I'm not going to be trying to sell you on these things that cost more money to build.
So you're asking more questions.
You're 100%. You're
what are the questions you spend on?
You're spending more time on the front end. Partially just shooting the shit, but just like, just getting to know them.
Basically, like, what do you care about?
How are they talking about their home? How are they, like, what matters to them? What kind of watch are they wearing? Like, just like different little things. Like, what car do they drive? If they're, living in a $2 million house and they drive a Toyota, you're going to know, okay, this is a cheap son of a bitch. So he just cares about price. He wants to save money. So he doesn't even. But then again, sometimes you got this person that they see value and they don't care how much they pay. They just want to know that what they got is a good value for what they paid. So they're willing to spend $200,000 if they get a good deal on that $200,000. Where other people, it's just like I've had homeowners in just like beautiful parts of Woodbury where it was an ACV policy and they're just like, Noah, I need you to put this roof on absolutely as cheap as possible. And I'm like, GAF's not cheap shingles. So like I can only go down so low before I'm not making money or the company's not making money. So we get down to that, 600 a square, which any roofer is going to know in Minnesota, 600 a square is not going to be a super profitable job unless you're putting on, stolen shingles that you stole from my job site in Minneapolis last week. Then 600 a square is very profitable.
Who do you think stole those? Do you think that was like
someone
sub?
in the industry?
A sub?
For sure.
That's a wild move, bro.
It's a super wild move. Dude, 2 pallets of freaking shingles. I mean, luckily it wasn't a big house.
How much was that?
Like $6,000 worth of material. Yeah. Jeez. It was a redeck. Yeah. OSB.
That's tough.
Yep. Shingles.
So what do you do?
It was an $18,000 roof. It literally cost us $17,987 to build. I was like, $13, my company was good. I mean, but the profit's gone. The money's gone.
So
nobody's getting paid.
When they
besides the people who put the roof on. And
man, that's tough. I bet you other people have had that happen though. I've seen that.
Oh, tons. Yeah.
So how far in advance did you guys drop those shingles?
So we dropped it the night before. We dropped it the night before, and then it was a rain day on Friday.
Yeah.
This was 2 weeks ago, but yeah, dropped it the night before. So they sat one night and they made it that night. But then when we didn't roof it that Friday, we came Saturday and the pallets were empty.
I gotta get a little Nest camera or something for our pallets.
Nobody had. We put tracking on them. Like, let's put another pallet out there with tracking on it.
Oh wow, I feel like that's a way too. But it's like then slapping like a tracking thing on every pallet. Any other crazy stories like that you want to share? I haven't had you on the podcast before. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We just hang out. But we just
hang out, but never talk about business because I know you're off limits.
Yeah. Well, we talk about hopes and dreams. And, you're young in this industry. I probably entered roofing hard around the same time you did.
Yeah. 2021 or 2020.
Where do you think it's all going, man? Where do you think we're young bucks? I think we have fresh eyes to this industry. Like, I don't even know if we're that romantic about the last 20 years because there's people that got into this 10 years ago.
I feel like we got into it it's downturn.
Sure, but then
there's going to be, it's going to ebb and flow.
Different things, private equity.
So they're not dummies, so they see something hopefully we don't see, or hopefully they're not dummies.
Well, yeah.
But I think for the immediate future, it's figure out how can you get your overhead down as low as possible so that way, because new guys aren't making money in this industry right now. New guys are coming in, and unless they start at a 50-50 split with that 15% overhead, which is kind of becoming the new norm with a lot of companies, that 15% overhead comes off the top, and we're building at $50 to $70 a square more than we were building at. That's our cost up from last year. And then with everything going on, it's like a race to the bottom. So it's like we're, building whatever, high 3s. Now it's in the, mid 4s, and it's like, oh crap. So if you got to come down to 400 or 600 a square to build, and then you got a 15% rip coming off the top of that 600 a square, that doesn't leave much money to split between you and the owners. And if you got a new guy at a lower percentage to start until they get trained up, they're seeing $600, $700, $800 paychecks on jobs where they used to be seeing, $2,000 paychecks at minimum on jobs. So the new guys aren't making it in the industry. The veterans, half of them are getting lazy because half of them just waited till it rained until it rained and then it poured. Where the people who are surviving are the ones who are always cutting their teeth, rain or shine. They're out there right away after a storm. They're knocking till dark. They're, working the little storms, not just waiting for the big ones. They're building their networks of realtors. They're working with, getting preferred contractor lists for insurance companies, working with insurance brokers, joining networking groups, the ones who are really building out this portfolio of lead generation, working with people like Hook Agency. Google ads, all that, figuring out a way to have these leads coming in so that way when the storms don't happen, because if you build your company strictly on storms and then the storms don't happen, it's tough. You can't really expect success.
Why are you still here? It sounds harsh.
Yeah,
It sounds
it's hard.
It's hard right now, and I'm saying, like, what do you really expect? Because you're not like going and starting a new career right now. Are you thinking about it?
No, definitely not. I mean, I've told my owners a couple times this year's almost broke me.
Yeah.
But no, I'm one of the people who have done all those things that I'm talking about. I'm the one who still wakes up at 6 a.m. to go to my 7 a.m. BNI every Wednesday. I'm still the one who keeps in touch with the realtors, that adds value to them, that finds a way, the one that can, close a pure $80,000 retail job for somebody moving into town. Like I'm the guy who can do those things. So, even though, my take home is looking like it's going to be cut in half.
If there was
from last year.
If there was
maybe more than half.
Wasn't the prospect of another big storm in the next few years, would you still stay in this industry?
I think so. It's really, 100%.
Why?
The reason why is because what's going to happen is a lot of companies are going to fold. The weak are going to get out. The people who are just here the sales guys unless they was shooting fish in a barrel, filing claims, everything's getting approved, like they're not willing to really put in the work, they're going to get out of the industry. And the people who actually can sell, it's going to legitimize, I guess, the industry. So does it suck right now? Does it hurt? Are we all making less money? 1,000%. However, if you're a business-minded person and you realize, hey, even in a really bad year, I can make 150 to 200 grand, then I know it's going to eventually get good again. Mm-hmm. The fake demand is gone, or at least most of it's gone. Now the supply is still up here, so the supply is eventually going to level off, and then it's going to be fine again. Mm-hmm. It's going to be more retail, it's going to be more financing, it's going to be more true selling, it's going to be less chaotic the day after a storm. These things are all good. It's just until this gets from here to here, it's going to really feel hard. And it's going to feel like there's too many roofers. It's going to feel like there's not enough homeowners. It's going to feel like there's not enough storms. Like it's going to be tough, but if you can get through that, there's going to be fruit at the end.
So if you're a competitor of his,
quit. Quit, pussy.
Well, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to end. I really appreciate you coming into my garage for this podcast.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime. Are you ready to pop in the cold plunge?
Let's go. Cold plunge.
All right, do you have your shirts on? You gotta go get them on.
The
podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social media. And if you want to work with Noah,
give me a call. Or Bison Builders or 612-268-9391. Give me a call.
See you guys later.
Okay.
So for final question, even though the market's a little cold, would you suggest somebody to get into roofing? Tell me the real truth.
Man, that's the $1 million question. Is the dream gone? Or is it still alive? I mean, if you are a true salesperson, I think there's still a lot of value in it, but at the same time, as much as I've never been the person to say wait for a storm,
wait for a storm. You might have to. All right, thank you guys. Podcast is put on by hookagency.com.
This feels so good.
5. Do you want to dunk your head? 4, 3, 2, 1. Daddy!